Hello, welcome to this short session this morning. We're going to talk about under land use controls, we're going to talk about the section when it comes to non-conforming use, conditional use permit, and a variance. Okay, these are government restrictions that are put on land. Okay, so these three terms, principles, you want to know for the state exam: non-conforming use, conditional use permit, and variance. Okay, my name is John Enzing. I'm a licensed real estate instructor in Louisiana and Florida. My specialty is to do one-on-one live tutoring online. All you need is a phone, a smartphone, a tablet, or a desktop, and an internet connection, and we can line up for an online tutoring session to prep you for the exam. Okay, in areas you need help, from common law, real estate calculations in common law, contracts, finance, all the way through the civil code. All you have to do is go to privateturingsessions.com, and go ahead and book and schedule an appointment. Okay, or you can email me, john.enzing@gmail.com. All right, so let's dive into non-conforming use, conditional use permit, and variance. Now, what is a non-conforming use? Just like the term says, non-conforming means it doesn't come to the current standards of building codes. Okay, for example, if I'm a third generation owner of a small gas station, okay, that was built back in 1930, okay, you know, with the two garage bays and just two pumps, and you just got the little place inside to do the exchange for money to go buy gas, the old style gas stations, right? So built back in the early 30s, maybe, perhaps, okay, and it was handed down to me. I'm a fifth generation owner, was in the family. Well, I can keep that gas station in its current status, called non-conforming use. The building codes have changed. All the different government restrictions have changed, but because I'm in place before the changes came to fruition or came to pass to make the changes, my gas station is considered non-conforming use. Or here's another term: grandfather clause. Okay, so I'm already in. Now, it doesn't conform. Watch this now. This is important you understand this. Non-conforming use means the structure doesn't conform to the zoning. Remember, built back in the 30s. Now we're in 2022. Obviously, the zoning laws have changed. So it doesn't conform due to the existence before the enactment of the zoning ordinances. So it was built before these zoning ordinances were changed. Okay. It runs with the land, which means it runs from owner to owner. Now, here's the caveat to this. If I rebuild or do any renovations to the building, okay, so if I tear it down to rebuild, or it's destroyed through a fire or tornado or anything, I got to rebuild it, or I'm going to add on to it, okay, I'm going to make it bigger, then I fall out of non-conforming use, and that will terminate. Now I got to go according to the current codes that are today. Okay, so non-conforming use, remember, the structure doesn't conform to the current codes, but is in place and is able to run the business and conduct business under the old codes it was built under, because it's grandfathered in, and it runs with the land, so it can keep going and going to generations on. And when the code keeps continuing to change, it's not going to affect it. But if it's rebuilt for any destruction or add-on renovation, etc., the non-conforming use terminates, and they have to go to current code. Okay, so that's non-conforming use. The next one we're going to look at is conditional use permit, or you may see this out in the test, state exam, special use permit. So this is a government control on land that allows special use for a property within another zoning. Okay, for example, there may be a city that has a historic district, okay? And there may be a residential area within the historic district. And maybe one of the houses within the historic district had a prominent landowner that was known, say, worldwide, okay? And so the current owner of it maybe wants to turn it into a museum. Well, it's zoned residential. So what they'll have to do is they'll have to apply to the local government for a conditional use permit to turn it into a museum for the public to come and look at the property and maybe all the things associated with that homeowner that was worldwide known, and just, you know, give it to the public for review and maybe charge admission to come in and look through this museum. Conditional use permit. Now, watch this. There can be times if the condition is abused or changed, then they can lose that permit. Okay, so if they go to a museum and they get the special use permit or the conditional use permit to operate as a museum, and they change it into a cafe or a coffee shop strictly, then they can lose that conditional use permit. Okay, so it's specifically used for special use other than what it's zoned for. Okay, and the last one we're going to look at is called a variance. Now, variance is nothing more than the landowner allowing, with government permission, to bend the rules. Okay, bending the rules. All right, so it provides relief for the landowner. If there's a zoning regulation that's depriving the owner of a reasonable use of the property, they can apply for a variance, get a variance granted to them to where they can bend the rules and within the legal, obviously legal limits within the government controls, allowing that through the variance, they can operate within the property within a reasonable use. Okay, so what you're doing is you're allowing to change the zoning to meet the owner's needs. So you're bending the rules. Okay. All right. So listen, this is very important. You got to know non-conforming use. Remember, grandfathered in. Okay. It runs with the land. Only if you rebuild or renovate does that change, where you have to come to current code and you lose non-conforming use or it terminates. Okay. You want to know conditional use permit. This is a special use permit to change the zoning on the property to use it for something else. Okay. Again, we use the example of using a residential home and turning it into a museum. All right, a commercial access to the public, and so a special use permit. If you violate the permit, then you lose the opportunity of the special use. And in variance, the landowner can bend the rules, allows the change to the zoning to meet the owner's needs. Okay. All right, listen, I hope you enjoyed this short session on non-conforming use, conditional use permit, and variance. Got to know these for the state exam, very important. Listen, if you need one-on-one training, again, privateturingsessions.com, privateturingsessions.com. We can come together and I can help you with anything that you need. Okay, listen, good luck in your career. Best wishes on your state exam. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.